Hello, my dear children. How are you all? I hope all of you are fine. Welcome to Lullaby Stories. So, my dear children, today we will be listening to the story of Thumbelina. We will be listening to the story in three parts. Today is the first part of the story, Thumbelina. So, my dear children, let's begin. Once there was a woman who longed for a child of her own. So she went to a witch to ask for help. "Old witch," she said, "I would dearly like to have a child of my own. Can you help me?" "Ah, that's easy," said the witch. "Here's a barley corn for you. Take it home and plant it in a pot. Then wait and see what happens." "Oh, thank you," said the woman. She hurried home and planted the grain in a pot. At once a flower began to grow. "What a pretty flower!" exclaimed the woman, and she bent down to kiss the petals. As she did, the petals burst open. There, sitting in the middle of the flower, was a little girl. "How tiny and delicate she is," said the woman. "Why, she is no bigger than the tip of my thumb. I'll call her Thumbelina." Thumbelina was very contented. At night she slept under a rose petal in a polished walnut shell. By day she rowed herself across a bowl of water the woman had put out for her. As she rowed, she sang. She had the sweetest voice you have ever heard. One night, while Thumbelina was asleep, a toad hopped through the window. "Now there be a handsome wife for my son," the big wet toad croaked, thumping down onto the table where Thumbelina lay. She picked up the walnut shell and hopped with it back to her home in the mud by the edge of a stream. But croak, croak, break, kick, kicks was all the toad's son said when he saw Thumbelina. "Shh! Don't speak so loudly. You might wake her," his mother said. "We must put her somewhere where she cannot escape." "I know," she said when she had thought for a time. "I'll put her on a water lily out in the stream." So Toad swam out to the center of the stream and set the walnut shell down on the leaf of the biggest water lily. When Thumbelina woke and saw where she was, she began to cry. All she could see around her was water. "How will I ever get back to the land?" she said sadly. Back on the bank, the toad was very busy carrying rushes and yellow water flowers from the stream to decorate the room where her son and his bride would live. "How happy my son and his new bride will be," she thought. Then the toads swarmed out of the leaf in the stream where Thumbelina was perched. The old toad made a deep bow to Thumbelina. "This is my son," she said. "You are to marry him and live with him in a fine house under the mud." "Croak, croak, break, kick, kicks," was all that her son could say. After the toads had swarmed away, Thumbelina sat and cried on the leaf. "I do not want to marry a big ugly toad and live in a house with him under the mud," she said. Below the lily, the fishes heard her and popped up their heads to look at her. "What a pretty little girl," they said to each other. "We cannot let her marry an ugly creature like that." So they swarmed up to the stalk and held the leaf and gnawed away at it until at last the lily floated free. Down the stream the lily glided. Thumbelina was happy. "The toads will never catch me now," she thought. The sun shone brightly and the water glittered like gold. She did not see the beetle fly overhead. Then all of a sudden she felt a pair of claws grip her around the waist and lift her off the lily leaf. Up the beetle flew into a tree. Thumbelina still clasped tightly in its claws. So, my dear children, that is all about today's part of the story of Thumbelina. We will continue with this story in our upcoming video. Did you like this story, my dear children? If you like it, please do write that in the comment, and please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. That's all for today. Thank you so much and bye-bye, my dear children.